Oh, you just suck on top. You in the doghouse? Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, it's great. What an amazing crowd. A little bit daunted standing in front of, I guess, such a large, amazing bunch of people, but people with such amazing, I guess, history, friendship, community with the club. So I feel like, I'll be honest, a little bit daunted in front of you all this afternoon, but also honoured to be here this afternoon as well. So, yeah, first of all, I should say I'm Simon, and very pleased to very much welcome you all here this afternoon. As the faces, the names, the photos, the memories, everything that everybody's been sharing the last few weeks has been absolutely incredibly lovely. And this afternoon we're hoping to keep the formalities relatively informal and relatively short and sweet. And thanks for your patience with the heat as well. Somebody happened to cancel the sea breeze, but despite that, we will have a good time.
On Basil.
Yeah. And I guess in preparing for today, I guess there's a lot of discussion about what Basil would really sort of like, and I guess the general thought was Basil would like a really good party and just to see everybody together just having a good time, and that's the spirit of this afternoon and on into this evening, that's for sure. So if you need anything at all, just sing out. We want you to have a great time and celebrate an amazing life that's been. What I will do is I'll probably just, in the first instance, just encourage people, if anybody wants to share a few words in just a short while, or just have just a little bit of think about it. We're going to try and keep the speeches generally fairly short. We're also broadcasting to people as well who can't be here as well. So to those who are online, welcome as well, and if your thoughts are with us. Probably without further ado on those things as well, to say just a massive thank you to and incredible appreciation to the family for the efforts in pulling this together. A massive thanks and appreciation to the incredible family that has pulled this together. Just as I say, hearing all the stories, the photos has just been absolutely inspiring. I'm not going to say too many more words right now, other than probably pass over to either Sherry or to Lynn. And as I say, we'll continue the celebrations this afternoon. That's for sure.
I could take too much time.
Just talking. Hi, I'm Sherry. My name's Sherry. I'm the youngest of Dad's 4 daughters. Just a quick, brief run-up of his life. He was sent here as a young 7-year-old child from England, all on his own, being the product of something not so good. But anyway, he was sent to a horrible school in Western Australia, and there he lived until he was sent out to work on a farm at 13. Then at 18, he joined the army and spent 5 years serving in the army overseas in World War II. Came home, trained as a builder plasterer, married and settled down and had a family.
We're just trying to turn up the volume, sorry.
Going the other way.
Are we good? No? Anyway. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
He'll come back.
So anyway, Dad never complained, never had a chip on his shoulder for having such a rough deal at the beginning of his life, but just got on with it and had a good life. I just want to keep it really brief because I know I'm on a 2-minute time limit. I just really want to thank a few people, but thank you all for being here first of all. You all were just as much a family to Dad as my sister and I were to him, and he loved you all, he loved this place, he loved all of you so much. And I thank you for coming and putting up with this dreadful day. But I'd like to also just thank quickly some special people. Dad's neighbours from Nora Head, they went way and beyond what a neighbour could or should have to do for Dad in those few years. Gary, Gay, Betty and Bill unfortunately couldn't be here today, but they did way more than any neighbour should or could have done. I thank you all so much. I really do. To Di Sadler, who is hiding up the back there, had endless barbecues with Dad, enjoyed them so much. He loved spending time with Di and especially going shopping for the wine that they would drink with the barbecue. So I thank you, Di. You spent endless Sundays with him. And not last but least, Lynn, who he went on endless trips with, spent so much time with, and sometimes we didn't know how you put up with him, but you did, and I thank you. And some of the last couple of things that Dad said to me on the Friday before he left us was, I'd just like to go for one more paddle. I just want to go for a paddle. And then as we walked out the door, he said, tell me I love her. I have always loved her. And on the day that Dad did pass away, my son sent me a poem which I'd just like to read to you because it was just so moving, and he said he couldn't read it because he would break up too much. So he's written, as we enter the cage that has now become home to him, I think maybe he has sparked up since last week. As I turn the corner and look down at what remains of a great man, my eyes well up, I mumble, maybe not. As suffering subsides and wings are gifted for him to fly, go to your place, old man, the place I have no doubt you have been for months in your dreams, the place where you smile endlessly as the sun glints off the rapids, where the river of life and death meet. This will be home now. We will all meet again soon, and though heartbroken and empty, I take refuge in knowing you are there, smiling. Until that time, life will go on. Goodbye for now. When we meet again, we will all be with you by the river eternally. Thank you.
We might invite Peter and John if you...
Yeah, okay, we've got probably a couple of thoughts that we would share with you. I can speak from here, can I?
You can if you speak very loudly.
We're trying to get the microphone working.
Come into the middle.
The very first thought would be where we are right here now. There used to be a wooden boathouse here, and it burnt down. And Basil was one of a number of people, key people, who actually rebuilt the clubhouse that we are now enjoying. And it's a credit to the committee to have decorated the clubhouse the way they have now for this event. It couldn't have been a better way of Basil departing with a clubhouse that he participated in and a mural that is pristine and brings out all the beautiful memories he has. I don't know whether anyone else wants to say anything. Is there any? Yeah, Dono? Yeah, if you could.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Donaldson, Dono. I started my paddling down here with the Scouts with Bert Hopkins. He designed our canoes, and he introduced us to the River Canoe Club, and of course there was Baz and Oz and George. They were the people to aim to. They were the leaders, and yeah, we had a ball of a time starting up canoeing back in the early 60s. I think the first trip we did, Brad and I said, can we go on the whitewater trip up down the Macquarie? And Baz said, yeah, what sort of canoe you got? And I said, oh, we got a couple of canvas covered canoes. He said, you won't make it. He said, yeah, we'll make it. We did. We took the darn things down there and we rebuilt them every day after we went down there. So yeah, we had a good introduction to canoeing with Baz and George and Oz and the rest of them. Robbie D, go down to Talbingo, and Robbie D, we used to call her mother. She's only about 6 months older than us, I think. Where is she? Over there. Ah, she's got to say something as well. Yeah, so yeah, we had still paddling. Pete and I go out every Tuesday, sea kayaking. I've had a great time down here. Yep. All right, I'll hand over to somebody else. And a farewell to Baz. You know, he slipped us early bogs of the white water and is on calm waters to meet George and the rest of the campsite. If you can't say something now, you've got to think of something. You'll give us 5 minutes. Can you say something now or not?
I probably can. Somewhere where I can project my voice. So who's been?
That's fine.
I'm in the shade. Baz has always been there. All of us have always been there. He's always been on every trip. And I remember when we did the Shoal Haven, Basil paddled it to Singapore to Canadian. And his ballast at the front was the wine. We had to get down this, it took us all day to get down the mountain to get to the river. But there was Basil with the wine up front, to make sure he had a good time on the way down the river. So there's little snippets like that that I think you hold here when you remember Basil. Ever have a bad word to say about anyone? Always greeted everyone with a smile and welcomed you into his immediate sort of group. And I think that's what we treasured so much about him, that he gave so much of himself really like that. And we're better for it. So thank you, Baz.
Do you remember going up the Shoal Haven Gorge?
I think, yeah, with the mat and the dog.
And that's what I was saying. Basil was undaunted. He was going to take his daughter up to the Shoal Haven flatwater to Glasgow Slack.
Yeah, that's right. I remember going on
And
that.
so she's in the front, the dog's somewhere, and there is this full single bed mattress folded over on the top of the canoe. So Basil couldn't see where he was going at all. This canoe had about that much freeboard.
Yeah, I remember that.
Was that your only trip?
Oh, but
Definitely
maybe
the last one.
It was. I've got a photo.
Oh, I must get it up.
I was lucky to go with Basil up to Cape York. There was Lynn and Basil and myself, and it started off being Mum, Granddad, and the kid, and then it came Mum, the sugar daddy, and me. So, but we did two trips up there I can remember. One was the Jardine River. For those who don't know, it's right up the top of Cape York, and there's loads of crocodiles, and they're really, really big. We're paddling down the river. We said, we're going to go for a swim, Baz. And all of a sudden we see this big crocodile slide into the water. I said, Baz, we're not swimming. And I've never seen him paddle so fast. The other one I remember is paddling the Gregory's River up there. And we're paddling along, and Lynn in the front and I'm in the middle. And all of a sudden the boat's going every which way. Turn around and said, Basil, what are you doing? And there's Basil stuck up a tree. He's got the coat hanging, he's hanging on the tree. He says, come back and get me, I don't want to get wet.
Sorry.
And there's one more story going back on many Christmas trips we spent with Baz. Is that loud enough? Okay. Lots and lots of Christmas trips we spent with Baz. The particular one I'm thinking about was an embroider. We had pulled up somewhere, we'd all taken yummy food from home. Basil had a chicken which he baked before he left home. He undid the alfoil and the chicken was alive with maggots.
Yeah.
And he took one look at it, took it down to the water, washed it down, ate it, and he lived to tell the tale.
What did he say though? He said if the maggots aren't dead, then the chicken's fine.
And my only other add-on is Basil's numerous appearances as Santa, which were just magic for all the kids who grew up with Basil, who send their, well, mine certainly do, and I know a number of kids who are sending their thoughts to hear later here. It was a magic time for kids to grow up.
Thanks, Mary. Oh well. I've wanted to heckle the whole time. You know, there's always another story to the stories that are being told. And because I spent so long in the car with Basil, I got like those 17 odd years in the army, ended up in camp, arrived on parade one morning, nothing on. They said, oh, what, Basil, have you gone troppo? Yes, sir. I said, well, you need a holiday down on some island in Japan. Fish girl, so off you go. He thought that was pretty good. Okay, so I better give you a couple of minutes of my story. My love affair with Basil. After the words we spoke often, it could have been nearly death by sword, I think. Anyway, Basil first kicked me up at Jingle Money, 40 years ago, when I got in a kayak for the first time. He sidled up next to me and said, look, I'm just a beginner too. How about we stick together? How many has that happened to? Either the next day or the next trip, talk about wine in the front of the canoe. If there was no wine on the trip, he used to put a big rock for ballast. This day, he chucked the rock out and put Rob into the front of the boat, and Rob would have been 3 or 4 maybe as ballast. And if you know Rob spent a lifelong time kayaking. We farewelled with him a couple of years ago, and can only blame Basil for introducing him to the river. Right? And I don't mean in a bad way. We had some fantastic trips, really. He introduced all of my family to wonderful, wonderful paddling trips on the river. It just makes me want to, well, I'll be able to think about him for a long, long, long time. Yes, that was 40 years ago. Close to my retirement, I said, what am I going to do for my retirement? He said, oh, trip around Australia. Oh, I said, fine, Sydney. So I had 3 days to dwell on what I'd done. And the next day I phoned him and said, I'm sorry, Basil, it was all my fault. Will you take me on another trip? And then for the next 20 years, no one was allowed the shotgun. So we had some fabulous trips together. Another, I'm allowed to keep going? Yes. Another quick one. He had a passion for nurses.
Oh yeah.
He made up every excuse and accident so that he could get taken to the hospital. One of the best ones was out of the Nimboida when he had to be helicoptered out because he had a few broken ribs. Made sure that the Easter Bunny came first before the helicopter arrived. And then the signal went to the Coffs Harbour Hospital that said there's a macho man coming from Nimboida after an accident. And so all the nurses rushed out to greet Basil. Now, it was 15 years ago, so Basil wasn't in his prime.
He wasn't his prime.
Second prize.
Kept in that hospital for some time. The next memorable time I have of me taking Basil to hospital was to Kununurra Hospital, where they said, after a hell of a trip, but that's another story, they said, what do you think's wrong with you? And he said, oh, I don't know, but I'm not very well. So he said, look, have a look in my wallet. There's a list of my ailments. So they took the list out, and the list was about this long. And so they went down the list. Oh, SARS isn't on it. You must have SARS. So they locked him up, no nurses, for 4 or 5 days. And I said, yippee. I took a truck and went to the bungles on my own. I had to get R&R from Basil. Anyway, the trips went on and on and on. You all know. Just in closing, I think, I've seen people leave the club and keep paddling, but I think there was something missing. And I think that was probably Basil, who provided the cement that brought us all together. And it was forever. He had boyfriends, girlfriends all over the state that used to have picnics, and eventually I got the gig to come to one or two of them. But most of the time it was Basil, wasn't it? I felt just a little bit envious of him because so many people fell in love with Basil. He was just one hell of a guy. And he's pretty clever to send the heat down today. The last word on this.
Thank you.
One story.
Yeah, he was up at the Barrington. We're at the pull-out point, and we get there, and Basil didn't look too well. And you said to Basil, "What's wrong, Baz?" He says, "I've got a bit of angina." He says, "But I left me tablets back at camp." So it was on the phone to get the ambulance to come from Gloucester. So we met the ambulance just outside of Gloucester, and so they're putting the monitor things on him and everything, and he's got these real heavy walking boots on, and because he's all smiles, and so the paramedic puts the monitor on his finger, and he goes, "What's that?" And the paramedic says, "It's all right. It's only a bullshit meter." and they look at his boots. He said, "No wonder you had an angina attack with them bloody boots on you," And because we get in there the next day in the hospital, and he's chatting up all the nurses as usual, and and he's got a big grin on his face, and you say, "You been behaving yourself, Basil?" And he goes, "No." He says, "I've been looking after the nurses." "Oh yeah, that'd be right." And I spent a couple of days up at Nora Head with Baz back in 2002 when I was doing a bit of a trip around New South Wales, and he loved company, and he loved kids. He loved seeing kids be happy, which made him happy. And so we go for a walk around the reserve down there near his home, and I was hardly keep up with the old bugger. And so he couldn't keep him down. He was always asking the doctors if there was something wrong with him. He'd go, "Oh, when can I go away? Can I go away this coming trip up there? Oh, we'll see." And he'd be probably trying to, bullshit them and everything like that, always. So, yeah.
Anybody else? No, shut Dave up. Yes. Basil's grandson?
I'm Basil's grandson. It's firstborn grandson. I don't want to mix that up. All I wanted to say is my father was a prick. He became my father once we got rid of that thing. He taught me how to appreciate people and just life in general, I guess. I miss him dearly. He was everything to so many people. I mean, I don't know half you people, most of you people, but I know he touched a lot of people, even people that didn't know him or met him are here today. And that's just the man he was. And I can't wait to instill those values in my daughters, because he taught me basically everything good about human nature.
Yeah, indeed.
I miss him.
I just want to say something quickly about how skillful he was. When I joined the club 40 years ago, he was an old guy. Now I'm about the same age as he was when I joined the club. But I rejoined the club back in the mid-2000s, and I went on the Victorian Safari, and we were doing a car shuttle on the Omeo Highway. It was dirt at the time. The young guy that was driving the vehicle was following Basil, and he turned to me and said, "How old's this guy in front?" And I said, 85. He said, "I can't keep up with him on this road." He said, "How can he drive this road, a dirt road like this, at 85? I go, "I don't know, it's Basil." You know? And then at his 90th birthday, I was talking about wooden paddles, and I mentioned to him that this paddle that I'd had for many years had snapped clean off in a rapid, and he said, "Oh, let me have a look at it." Well, he took it home and he's repaired it at age 90. I can't see the repair. He's done such a good job of it, and that was the sort of skills that he had. Yeah.
Listening to all the reflections, I think it's just fair to say Basil has just brought an incredible amount to so many people over the years, and touched so many people and made the world a better place. And I guess from a club point of view, I guess he is the club, and what just epitomises, I guess, the real spirit of the club is today and has been for since 1935. I guess he's still going to be with us for a long time to come, that's for sure. And he's made the world a better place. So. Thanks everybody for sharing your thoughts, your reflections, and this afternoon it's so touching to see everybody here today. And even though we're keeping this formality part of it relatively short, we'd love you to join us, I guess, the rest of the afternoon and the evening, and just sharing lovely stories, reflections, and there's some photos. And so this is only the start of the celebrations. I think that is Basil, I think. So
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for everything you did too.
I was going to say, on a practical level, we are occasionally known as a eating club that goes paddling occasionally, and similarly with drinking and those things as well. So there is a spit roast for those who are keen with the meat eating variety. There's also a vegetarian barbecue, or if it's not
About to get started.
there'll be a vegetarian option shortly as well. There's no shortage of soft drinks, alcohol, and those things of that nature. From a duty of care point of view, I do just ask you to be sensible a little bit this afternoon and those things as well. There's plenty of hand sanitizer and things of that nature. As you'd appreciate, we just got to be a little bit careful.
So just take it easy.
Yeah, just take it easy. If it gets to about midnight, we might just encourage you to go home or something at some point, or else. Or just look after each other.
Swags out.
Yeah. Well, it's swags in the upstairs or whatever you need, or roll into a canoe or whatever it might be. But yeah, the idea is eat, drink, be merry. If people do want to head out at all during the course of the afternoon for a bit of a canoe, the canoe float's here. More than welcome to head out. We'll share a few flowers out in the water and things of that nature as the afternoon goes on. But it's intended to be a lovely, relaxed affair, and it's just a heartfelt thank you so much for everybody for coming this afternoon from all the generations and across the years. So enjoy the celebrations this afternoon, and thank you.
Yeah, that microphone. And then when my device is overheating, I don't know what happened here. I just disconnected. My backup overheated. Now my backup is still going. It's going to be a bit of a